Hello and welcome to West Wales. My name's Becca and you are very welcome to join me on a journey to reconnect with sewing in retirement. If you were here for my last video, you will know that I had a first go at doing patchwork, and someone in the comments said, "You're going to find this addictive." So, oh yes. Oh yes. So this is another video and it's more patchwork. Now, I might be new to patchwork, but I'm not new to design. And one of the things I'm really keen to do is actually design a little bit of my own patchwork. I want something quite modern, and I also want something that's going to take advantage of some fabric that I was gifted from a lady who makes prom dresses, ball gowns, all sorts of things. So this is it. And it's all wondrous colours. Obviously it's quite shiny, so sewing a satiny material can be a bit of a challenge. Many years ago I did sew my own ball gown, so I have done it, but it was a very long time ago. I think these are going to make a wonderful cushion that's going to go on my sofa for the Christmas season. These are lovely rich colours, it's a luxurious fabric, and I just think it's going to have a real Christmassy feel. So with that in mind, I started to do a little bit of research, and one of the things I always do when I start a design, I design stationery, so it's slightly different than obviously designing with fabric. But one of the things I always do is I do a mood board. So we're just going to go onto the computer and have a little look at the mood board that I've started to work on. I'm using a ready-made mood board from the software called Canva, and it's something you can get online. You can get a free account, and I just put in patchwork and scrolled through to see the different pictures, and I like the idea of something modern. I also like the idea of using blocks and squares, so I just collected a few images of things that I really liked to give me somewhere to go, a direction to follow in my design process. Ta-da! Okay, ignore the colours, but what I really wanted to do was just have a look at how I could construct something. So have two squares that fold one on top of the other, then have a little flap for just tucking the cushion in. And this is by no means a finished design. In fact, I sort of decided that I'm going to have one side just as blank and the other side with the patchwork. So that side, the patchwork, that side blank, so it can be the same colour as that flap. And I just played around using the themes that you see in the patchwork, some of the different block combinations that I liked. Yeah, so there you go. That is what I've come up with. But what I'm going to do now is actually go and put it on the computer and play around with it a little bit more. So let's go over to the computer screen. I already had a colour palette that I'd been working with for something else, so I just used that and played around with a few ideas. I think I've made a bit of a mistake. One of the things that you are taught when you are doing design and working with a limited colour palette is start with your colour palette first. I sort of really like the colour palette I've been working with, and of course it's not what I've got. So what I'm going to do is actually, excuse me, I am going to get my Pantone colour deck out, and these are what you use. Well, these are particularly what you use when you're designing fabric, because these are fashion and home interior guides. So I'm going to be able to do a really good colour match. Okay, a wasp has just flown in through the open door. Great, just what I need. I'm not scared of insects and I'm not scared of wasps, but yeah. Oh, she's a big queen wasp looking for somewhere to hibernate. Okay, I'm gonna have to evict you, waspy lady. Once I have evicted Mrs. Wasp, I am going to turn the camera around. We're going to do a colour match with the fabrics I've actually got, and then I shall be able to get some hex codes from these and I can put them on the design I've got on the computer. The thing about that design is that it is to scale. So I've done a 24-inch or 60 centimetre square cushion, and they're absolutely to scale, so I will be able to take the measurements off the design I've done, obviously add a seam allowance, and then I'm going to be able to cut my pieces out from there. Right. Oh, Mrs. Wasp, you have to go back outside, I'm afraid. Okay, see you in a moment. This is always really good fun. So it's somewhere in amongst that lot, I think. Because this is commercial fabric, you know, it was made in the thousands of meters, it will be a Pantone colour, because that's how fabric is printed, by Pantone colours. I've got good daylight in here, so I should be able to match it pretty well. I mean, one of the problems with this, well, it's not really a problem, but one of the reasons it's not going to be a total match is because this is designed for cotton, and obviously this is satin, so you've got that reflective nature, as I haven't got the reflective nature on here. They're quite matte colours, but I think that's pretty close. Yeah, I think that is pretty close. Yeah. How well you will see these colours on your screen, and I'm recording on a phone, I'm not quite sure, but I think that's pretty close, and I think it's going to be close enough for me to do the design. So that is called Outer Space. I feel a time lapse coming on for the next little bit. Now I have the codes for my colours, I can apply them to my design and finalise exactly where I want the different colours to sit within the design. And by the magic of editing, here it is. I've done myself a sketch, and also I've numbered them in the number I want to sew them together in. Plus I've put the measurements in inches plus a seam allowance. I don't quite know why I'm working in inches, but it sort of made sense at the time. So the construction will go 1, 2, 3. So that will be one strip. And then I will go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that will be my next strip. Then 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That will be the third strip. And then I will just go 1, 2, 3 strips together, and it'll be a square. It kind of makes sense to me. I need to stop doing this now and just let that design sit. I am ironing at the moment, but I just thought I'd show you what I'm doing. Is I'm putting a little sample of the fabric, and then next to it which piece I'm going to use for that colour. And then hopefully I can't get confused. I think I probably can get confused, but that's how I'm trying to organise myself. Here comes arguably the most important part, which is cutting out my pieces accurately. I think I need a rotary cutter. The final colour at last. You can probably see the little white tabs of paper, and they have the different numbers on so that I can keep it all organised, and I can try my hardest to actually sew them in the correct order. And this was a tip that was given to me by a viewer from a video that I did about a month ago. So I do listen to the comments. They're very important to me, and I've picked up some great tips. So thank you for leaving those comments. I really, really appreciate them. I have everything cut out. I think I made a few mistakes. In fact, I know I made a few mistakes. I think I've cut something a little bit too short. I'm sure I can sort it out. I don't think it's a disaster, but there you go. Everything's in my basket. So the next thing is to start sewing it together. And I wrote myself on my pad here a little order to sew them in. I have no idea if this is how you're supposed to do blocks or work out blocks. I'm sort of making this up as I go. So if there's a better way of doing it, just let me know in the comments. Okay, right, let's get the machine out, start sewing. I'm really keen to use things I've already got. So these are the 2 cottons I already have. And I think I'm going to go with this blue one because predominantly my colours are in the sort of blue range. I mean, I think this pinky one would tone, but I'm going to go with this one. I think it's pretty safe to say that I have not got a lot of these square. Oh dear. But I'm going to persevere because that's the only way you learn, isn't it? Just keep on plodding away, and the next time it will be better. And this is one of the reasons I want to use fabric I already own, because I don't want to spend a fortune on fabric that I then completely mess up. Wish me luck. I have had a couple of really good recommendations for rotary cutters, and a couple of people have said the same one, so I think that's what I'm going to go for. But I'm always loath to buy all the toys and spend a load of money if actually this is not something I'm going to continue with. So you can sort of see how it's all a bit wonky. I'm just going to crack on with this and I'll see you in a minute. So here we are, progress. And this is the one that I think was too short, so I've just sort of put a bit extra on. So this I need to join to here, and then now you see I've done that, and actually I don't think it is too short. It's just, no, it's not at all, is it? I don't know what I was thinking. Oh well, I can just cut it off, it's fine. So join that to that, and then there's another bit that goes in there, and that to that. Yeah, that's not really describing it very well. Anyway, I shall carry on. I just made a mistake, and although I really want to power through and get this finished, I think actually it's time to call it a day for today, go for a walk, relax, and then come to it fresh tomorrow. A bit of unpicking to do now. So after saying I wasn't going to power through, I powered through and I finished it, but oh my goodness, my eyes have gone all boggly. And of course now I've finished it, I've really noticed the big mistake I made right at the start. Gonna have to do some more unpicking. I think it's going to be worth it though. I mean, I could leave it as it is. I mean, you know, it's just for me, and I kind of knew it was going to be wonky from about the second piece of fabric I started to cut, because it was so slippery. I just knew I was not getting things very straight. However, it's going to annoy me if I don't unpick this and just adjust it slightly. So that's what I'm going to do tomorrow, and I will show you all that because I do believe in showing my mistakes as well as my successes. Anyway, finally I'm out from a walk, lights going, bit drizzly, but I will see you back in the echoey conservatory stroke sewing room, stroke dining room, stroke crafting room, stroke everything else room, stroke mud room in a little bit. Bye for now. So this is phenomenally wonky, and I can live with the wonkiness. What I can't live with is that. So I'm going to unpick that and resew it. So as I have been doing this, I've realised I've made another mistake, and I haven't actually given this pillowcase, cushion cover, whatever we're calling it, any ease. So I have a lovely feather cushion to go in it, but I have made the cover the same size as the cushion, which I don't think was my best plan. But you live and learn. I really have enjoyed the whole process of the design side of it. I mean, I've enjoyed the sewing as well, but actually the sewing's been a little more difficult than I thought it was going to be. Mainly because I have cut it out so poorly. Right, I'm gonna iron that out, and then we have to think about what I'm going to have as the backing. And rather than putting a zip in, I'm going to do a little tuck in, and either it's going to be the pink or the blue. I think probably the blue. I'm going to put them against the sofa and see which one I think I would like. If you happen to turn the pillow over, what's it going to look like? Pillow, I don't know what, pillow, cushion, whatever it is. It's a cushion. If you're in the UK, it's a cushion. If you're in the US, it's a pillow. I get very confused because I sell my Zazzle designs in the States. I quite often write in American English, and I use American spelling as well, and I get myself so confused. So ironing, backing, and then see if the cushion will fit inside, or if I'm going to have to buy a new cushion, a slightly smaller one. Might have to. Anyway, right, see you in a minute. So that's the sofa and that's the corner. I think I'm going to go with the blue. I think the pink is just a bit too out there. As I am doing this, I'm realising that this is an edge that's going to show, and it's quite messy, and I just kind of was finishing it, and of course it is going to show. Yeah, I think I think I'm not quite sure what I should do about this. I'm just going to finish it, and I think we can safely say this is a prototype, and I need to think about how I would finish that top edge, whether I put some kind of binding around it, or yeah, let me know in the comments, how should I finish these edges, or particularly that top edge? How should I finish that? Does that need to have something like a binding on it? Let me know. Yeah. I'm going to think on that. I've tacked this together just to get an idea of what it's going to look like, and this edge, big problem. The rest of it, not too bad. Now, moment of truth, will this actually fit in here? actually, yeah, that's fine, that fits in all right. But I do need to sort this edge out. So I think, yeah, I need to bind that edge with maybe this, I think. And I think actually that will be okay. Let's have a look at it on the sofa. So there it is on the sofa. And I just need to finish this edge in a better way. And then it's going to be okay. Okay, right. Let us go and just have a think about what worked and what didn't. Okay, what worked and what didn't. Design process I loved, and I think it worked, or from my point of view it worked. I was always going to love that, wasn't I? You know, that's what I do. I was going to say for a living. I think, no, we can't say I make my living doing it. My side hustle is design. That's what I do. That's what I love. And yet, definitely liked that. Want to learn how to design some more blocks. And so if anybody has got a recommendation of a book that's going to really help me understand what the different blocks are and how I don't make that mistake of not really having a finish on the edge. I'm not quite sure how I get over that, but anyway, I'm going to sort that out. Not having the right tools, as in a rotary cutter. Sorry, the dog's just come down to say hello. Hello, Millie. Not having a rotary cutter, cutting mat, yeah, with this slippy fabric really was not a good plan. But I will remedy that. That's easy to solve. My sewing skills, yeah, they're coming along. You know, it is a long time since I did a lot of sewing, so yeah, that's coming along. And just, am I going to carry on quilting? Actually, I haven't done any quilting, so I've done patchwork. Am I going to carry on and start making quilts, or am I going to incorporate this kind of patchwork style into making some other things? That's where I'm sitting at the moment. That's how I feel about it at the moment. I'm not sure about making a big bedspread or something like that, but I do like the idea of being able to use patchwork in other projects. So yeah, I'll think about that a bit more. I've got quite a lot of this fabric left, so I am definitely going to try and use it a bit more. And I'm kind of really sitting on the fence about slow stitching. I thought that was going to be my thing, but the more I've worked with this fabric, and I found it frustrating not having the colours I wanted, and also not being able to make choices of the fabric I liked. And I was gifted this, and it's a good way to learn. I don't like this slippy fabric. I kind of knew I wasn't going to like it, but you know, you work with what you've got. So on that note, and it's all kind of, I'm not 100% sure about where I'm going to go with this. On that note, I'm going to say, really welcome your feedback. There are lots of things I don't know, so I'm quite happy to have tips and hints and channels to follow and books to buy and just anything that you think might be helpful. I'd love to know about it. So I'm going to say goodbye for now. And just one last thing, you know how YouTube works. So if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and do all the usual things. I also have a buy me a coffee page, which is, you can buy me a coffee for, I think it's set at $3. I should really find that out before I start doing this, shouldn't I? I think it's like $3 and it's a one-off payment. And if it's something you can do, that's fantastic. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. If it's not something that you want to do or can do, that's fine too, because I make these videos because I like making them, and it just does help to have that little bit of money coming in so I can pay for the music that I use and also for the editing software. But if it's not something you want to do, that's fine. So until next time, have a great week. Bye-bye.